Hello everyone. Many of you have been asking a PvP guide for Awakening Woosa, so here it is. I'll walk you through everything you need to know about this unique class. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Let me explain how she actually operates. You need to adapt to the CC effects and cooldown times of her abilities to manage her combos effectively. Most of her damage is locked behind the flowers, all of which have delayed damage, so your flower traps will only explode a few seconds after being placed. That's why her playstyle is so unique. In my PvP montages, you often see the cat CC occur in the SE skill from Awakening. The skill attacks from behind the enemy, making effective against unprotected opponents, causing them to get CC'd. It's essentially a block jump skill and serves as her main CC. The reason I emphasize adapting to her CC and cooldowns is because failing to do so severely limits your damage output. Her flowers, and including 80% of her pre-awakened kit, do not have critical rate. Therefore, mastering her unique playstyle and time CCs and abilities is crucial. For example, after CCing an enemy, you must cast WRMB from Awakening to gain 50% critical rate buff. That's essential. You can get 50% critical rate from WRMB, 30% from Addons, and 18% from the passive, totaling 98% critical rate throughout the combo. Maintaining these buffs is vital for dealing significant damage. Regarding her damaging combos, you generally have two options. The first one is apply a CC, then set the flowers to get the buffs and add-ins, debuff the enemy, extend with knockdown, and finish with a quick burst. Example of a combo is SE as your main CC, SRMB into SLMB into WRMB as the flowers, Shift Z as the extension, Shift F, Shift E, SLMB into Shift LMB as the quick burst in pre-awakening. The second one is apply a CC in pre-awakening stance, use some fillers, then extend with a knockdown, set the flowers to get the buffs and add-ins, debuff the enemy, and finish with awakening fillers to deal damage. Example, CCs like SE, Shift Z, E, WE. Then you can use abilities like SF, Shift F, or Shift E as fillers, and you can extend with F, Nether Strike, then finish with SRMB into SLMB into WRMB as the flowers, and end with Shift LMB or Shift F from Awakening for filler damage, although this alone may not be enough to kill. The first option is preferred because Awakening skills aside from flowers do not deal much damage due to slow casting animations. And against evasion builds, you can add an RMB after WRMB before extending with Shift Z to debuff 90% of the target's evasion. The ideal scenario for Awakening Woosa involves using Life Lure, the Shift RMB in its flow flower traps strategically for zoning, CC an opponent with his flowers or skills like SE, then follow up with the described combos. To extend combos, I often use Shift Z, the knockdown rebomb, and F Nether Strike from Awakening if I'm close to the enemy, and SLMB second hit if I'm far away from the target. This is the essence of dealing damage with her. Now let's discuss her CC capabilities. For knockdown, there's Shift RMB, it's for guard, WRMB and F, but both unprotected, SLMB, stiffs on the first hit, and knockdowns on the second one, and it's also unprotected. And from pre-awakening, she has Shift Z. She has two bound CCs, but both unprotected, Flow Sunshine Field, and SE from pre-awakening. For stuns, we have SRMB, Shift Q, and for knockbacks, RMB. As floating, we have SE, it's a block jump, stiffs, then floats. It's forward guard with a gap without the car skill, and SE's flow, but it's kind of unprotected. And remember to lock the F skill from pre-awakening, it's the only skill that needs locking, And a little reminder that the CC from flowers, it's on the explosion. Her protections include super armors like WE in its flow, Shift F, SF, or space from awakening, as well as Shift Q, Shift RMB, Shift LMB, Shift Q from pre-awakening. And forward guards like SE, Shift LMB, Shift RMB from awakening, SF, Shift F, Shift E, Shift LMB, and space from pre-awakening. For swap between specs, you can use hotbar skills to switch from awakening to pre-awakening, and you also can use A or D plus RMB or F, Nether Strike, and SE. And you can swap from awakening to pre-awakening with Shift Q directly from awakening, double bombs, and the magnet skill on the hotbar. Movement-wise, Woosa relies on Shift A, D, W, and S for super armors and iframes, with F for awakening movement and Shift Space for flight. Combine these for fast movement by animation cancelling and resets. In terms of crystals, Woosa's flowers do not benefit from special damage buffs, like back, down, air, and critical hit damage, or species damage, unlike her other skills. Therefore, offensive crystals aren't recommended. Opt for defensive and utility-oriented setups. Woosa doesn't benefit from evasion, so prioritize damage reduction in her gear. Considering her flaws, Woosa's performances centers on burst damage with her pre-awakened kit, mainly due to the limitations in awakening skills. Her CC mostly comes from unprotected skills, with only Shift Q and SE providing real protection. Despite these drawbacks, Woosa shines in guild leagues, nodes, and Sage Wars due to her ability to deploy flowers in group settings, unleashing AoE damage and unsuspecting enemies to fall. If you want to see the things that I said in this guide, you should watch the videos in the link description if you want to see Woosa in action. And that was it. Until next time, take care.